All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. And for those of you who say I don't look sexy as hell when I do these videos, nobody cares what you think. I didn't ask you shit. So let's see what we get in here for people this morning. It's about to get cold. We're going to get snow here for the first time in a few years on Tuesday. It's going to mess with my deadlift session a little bit. All right. It's the whole talk of the town. It's the only thing anybody's talking about. They care about that more than TikTok. People in Houston, we're going to get snow. Oh my God. It's the apocalypse. It's the end of the fucking world. And it kind of is, because people here have no idea how to drive in it. So when it happens, there's like 157 deaths on the highway, unfortunately. Like, see cars just piled up for a fucking mile. It's insane. Because there's people here who've never actually seen like ice or snow before, like while driving. So they don't know how to handle it. They don't realize basic things like you can't just press the pedal all the way to the floor in the middle of the snow and not know how to steer correctly. You know, they just, oh shit, you can't do that. We didn't know it might be slippery. You know? Welcome to Houston. It'll be gone within less than a day, though. Usually, our snow usually melts. Oh, something in my ear. It's in my ear, making a sound. Usually, our snow melts within a few hours or half a day when we do get it, and then it'll be 3 or 4 years. How did it reduce moon face when bulking? Better stack. Change your drug stack if you don't want it. Cut your salt back. I mean, there's a big one. So that's a big part of it. Is you already know that sodium is going to cause that. And if you're on the wrong drugs, it's going to exacerbate it. So quit eating so much salt. That's a big part of moon face, is the trash dumpster diets that people eat when they're doing these bulking stacks. Tim. All right, makes sense. So because they're like, I'm going to make gains and I'm on all this gear, they do a diet that has excessive amounts of salt or MSG, you know, sodium specifically. Get a really bad sodium to potassium ratio. And keeping in mind, most gear causes the water retention due to changes in your aldosterone, which is one of the primary hormones involved with sodium excretion and retention. So that's really what's happening. It's a sodium issue. So cut your salt back. Eat a clean diet. Add extra potassium to your diet. And cut back junk that also causes inflammation. Like, dudes think because they're trying to gain muscle that they should be eating, you know, giant bowls of table sugar or something. Trying to get them calories, man. I gotta get them the calories somehow. And so they eat shit that kills them and makes their face all bloated and everything because they're basically fucking stupid. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that, dude. If you can't bulk on chicken and rice, I don't know what to tell you. Natty problems here. Middle-aged guy cutting down from 20% body fat to low teens, around 15%, looking small. And close. Any tips here? Oh man. Here's the thing, Cliff. We just got to accept the reality, dude. If you're gonna look big and close as a natty, you're gonna need to put some really serious time in under the bar. I mean, you have to be realistic about it. To not look small and close as a drug-free lifter is actually like a lifetime goal. So my tip is, dude, keep pounding away. Keep gaining muscle, but and again, you can get clothes that fit a little bit better. All right. So that's kind of the idea. You know, so again, get clothes that fit a little better. Quit wearing loose clothes. I can tell you right now, the worst thing you can do The worst thing you can do is have loose or baggy clothing. Like that is the best way to make your physique look worse. Right? Especially if in that case, like if you're a drug-free lifter who's leaner, dude, you better have some fitted clothes. T-shirts need to be a little tight and so on. Rounded Back says, I find if I eat a lot of salt, anything above 5 to 6 grams, yeah, that's a lot. I still look more bloated eating potassium 3 times the amount of salt I ate that day. So yeah, you're eating 5 to 6 grams of salt a day, dude. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot. I personally look thick and full if I do that, but with my Meniere's disease, I literally can't. I wish that I could, but it makes my life insufferable. Unfortunately, it destroys my quality of life, so I can't do that. Hey, Rounded though, what's your drug stack? It might be my question too, though, to factor in. Coach, do I need core specific exercises for wrestling defense, or compound movements are enough? Had to do my natural hypertrophy imitation. All right. No, you should probably do some core specific exercises, dude. Aren't you like a fighter? Yeah, dude. Having strong abs is never going to be a bad thing if you're going to get hit in the stomach, right? Just saying. Just saying, bros. Are there a bunch of drug-free lifters? There aren't a whole lot of them, actually, Frank. I mean, that's kind of the exception to the rule. That's why they're exceptional. But we come over to that term. Are they drug-free? Or are they natural TM? Jason is the Frenchie's body achievable naturally. Maybe if you're a man, I don't know about him. He probably definitely uses gear. His attitude alone tells me he uses gear. It's not even about his results. What are you supposed to say? Anyone with his attitude about it is 100% chance of fake natty. Who's marketing it as a cult? Like the real naturals don't have that arrogance about it ever. That's 100% a cope in marketing. Like if he was 120 pounds, I would still say that's irrelevant. He just may be using really shitty gear in that case. So, but we don't have anything for scale or proportion. We don't know his real stats. The guy lies about everything, literally. So how do we know what his stats are? I mean, the guy made 25 hours of like hundreds and hundreds of lies about me. He's been caught in all these other lies. So how do we know what his height and weight or anything even is either? We just don't. I mean, the guy's lied about having a wife, lied about having a shower at any point in the last month. The dude's nasty looking as fuck. All right. Rounded back deadlifts. How much salt do you stick to? I don't measure it. I just keep it low. Like, I don't know, dude, how much salt is in a protein shake? How much salt is in chicken breast? I mean, if I add a little sausage, there's a little bit in some of that. But for the most part, I don't track it. I just don't eat any real refined foods. So, I would say ballpark, maybe 1,500 milligrams. You already know better. I should almost get rid of you for that stupid question. You already know I've been sober for 5 years and 11 months. Yeah. February is my 6-year anniversary of quitting drinking completely. So I have not had a single alcoholic beverage in that time. What's your greatest lifting achievement? I don't know. How about I go with the one I just said, 6 years without alcohol? There's my greatest lifting achievement. I think that's more important than me having deadlifted 600 pounds over a dozen times. Like I would say that's a greater life achievement. Tim, congratulations on being sober, coach. I caught part of the live last night. You used to be a binge drinker. Yeah, dude, I was a binge drinker. Who's the top in the relationship? Strap-on or Frenchie is obviously the top. Strap-on is definitely like a power bottom. All right. Which that's like a really hardcore thing in that community. Cliff says, thanks, Jay. It sucks, though. I look like a swimmer when I'm lean. I'm not a youngster. I don't want the Timothy Chalamet look. I want to look big, but I want to say, yeah, man, you only advice I can give you is just keep stacking on muscle. Keep the protein high. Keep stacking on muscle. Maybe try to get wider. Get that back as wide as you can. That'll help you a lot. Put a lot of effort into your lats if you want to look really bigger in your clothes. Like the back will go a long way to do that. Focus on the weighted pull-ups a lot on rows. That wide back is a game changer. All right. Delts can be too. But, again, especially if you've got kind of that slimmer type build and structure, do get that back as wide as you can. Like put as much effort as you possibly can into that. Like pull-ups are your friend. And then anything for those delts. Hammer your delts really, really hard. So go ahead and work all three angles, side, front, and rear delts. Because anything you can add to that's going to make you look bigger in a shirt, especially if it's something fitted or tighter, like a tighter shirt like this. This is getting loose. I need to wash it. I need to do some laundry. So, do you think Frenchie? No, there's no way he has 18-inch arms. There's no way he has 18-inch arms. I'm not buying it. My opinion says me. What about basement bodybuilding? I think basement bodybuilding is definitely bigger than Frenchie. I mean, if I had to guess, I haven't really looked close. I needed to check. I haven't really looked at his stuff that much. He's definitely bigger than Frenchie. But he had a strength base from powerlifting before he jumped over and did all the bodybuilding stuff. So it kind of matters. Even though he may talk about the negatives of that, let's be realistic. What do we all know? Doing some powerlifting actually really makes people into better bodybuilders later. And I know countless coaches who believe this and say this. The guy was really pushing heavy singles, built some good muscle density and a foundation before he jumped into focusing entirely on hypertrophy. Okay. And notice that guy, the little bit of his stuff I've seen, he's respectably strong on his rep work. Like he's not a pussy throwing around lightweight. So realistically, there's a difference there. There's a big difference. Congratulations on being sober. Did you used to drink a lot in the past? I don't understand the question of the estimate. Keep in mind my age, and I've drank quite a bit over the course of my life. So if you're looking for me to try to estimate the quantities, I wouldn't even be able to. I don't know how to answer that. I wouldn't even know how to answer it. Like, am I supposed to say how much should I drink I don't know, the 25 years that I drink or whatever, 20 years? Am I supposed to tell you what the heaviest month might have been? Or do I mention that maybe there were whole months where I didn't have a drink at some point? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know how to answer that. I can say at one time when I was with my ex on this channel, or shortly in that phase, the first few years, and I came back to Houston and everything from the UK, I definitely had weeks where I had a whole bottle of wine, the entire bottle every night, 7 days a week. Right? Plus some Jaeger and other stuff. Right? But I really don't want to stand there and I mean, given the fact that I'm coming up on the anniversary of being sober, I don't want to stand around and dwell on and estimate how much I used to drink. Like, that's not healthy. What's your thoughts on the pendulum squat? Why would you think that I'm putting a pendulum squat in a garage gym? I mean, I think pendulum squats are good. Don't get me wrong, they're solid movement. But realistically, looking at the size of my garage gym, do you really think that's a good question? Am I going to add it to my garage gym? Come on, dude. That's kind of silly. I mean, be realistic. Then you'll probably go, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Dude's got a garage gym. Yeah, come on. Forearms looking crazy. Appreciate it, man. They're coming along, bro. Let's get a forearm shot. Thoughts on creatine? Yeah, it's worth it. Why wouldn't it be? Dude, what makes a forearm so big? Any exercises? Not using straps. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of pulling. So keep in mind the amount of rowing and pull-ups and chin-ups and stuff you see me do. I do most of my deadlifting without straps. I do dead hangs. I like to do my hanging leg raises now, hanging from the bar. It's grip training. Plus, I do a fair amount of hammer grip type stuff. So keep in mind too, people are like, well, what about all these other muscles? But it's like they do get work. So if you think about all the overhand grip rowing and stuff I do, or even if you look yesterday at those alternating dumbbell curls starting in the hammer position, it just all adds up. Like if you look at the amount of forearm volume, like if you were to watch, say, my vlog for this last week, watch all the training I did and start counting all the sets of stuff to where the different parts of the forearm are getting worked really hard, you understand why I have big forearms. And you realize he's not wearing straps for any of this, including the hanging leg raises. It's all grip. Tim says, I don't think you should dwell on your past drinking either. Do you think you're spreading good message of sobriety now? Appreciate it, man. I'm trying to. As much other stuff, dude, I'm going to do drama, I'm going to spitfire, I'm going to be an asshole. But at the end of the day, I do want to do useful things like that. I want to make the world better. If I can help people get under a barbell to help with all these problems, to help with their drinking, to help with their drinking problems, their addiction problems, their childhood abuse therapy, I want to be able to do that. I think those are important messages of what I do. Right? I mean, that's what we mean when we say stuff like leave the world a better place. Right? Because to me, that is the definition of a good person. Because we all do good things, we all do bad things. Every single human being on this planet. Me, you, everybody else. Right? Saints, evil people, everybody has done both. So the question becomes, what I define as a good person is, did you leave the world a better place for you having been in it? Was the net, when you balance the scales, was the world better because you were here? So if I can do something like that and help with those messages, then that helps balance that scale in that direction. Is there any chance that Alex could be natty? No, dude, shut the fuck up. Look at all the gains he made in his latter years. I mean, even the 405 bench, the guy couldn't bench for shit. I mean, I'm not saying, all right, that's not true, but it's not like the guy just soared up to a 315 bench all of a sudden. It took him like 6 years to get there. See where I'm going with that? He's not some genetic freak on the bench press who benched 315 after 3 years in the gym. So then you're going to tell me he was obviously doing gear when he was hitting those 315s and 320s. You kind of see the point? You could see the side effects. Unbelievably persistent. Says, thoughts on cold plunges coupled with rounds of sauna. Yeah, cold does interfere with recovery. So instead of asking me my opinion, what does the meta-analysis say on cold plunges and muscle growth? Let's set aside my opinion, your opinion. Let's go purely on what scientists are saying. based upon 20 plus studies. The cold plunges and ice baths have reduced muscle growth. At this point, there's no counter debate against that, as far as I'm aware. And also common sense should dictate it. If you've had, say, a couple semesters of college biology, you should also, without even having seen the study, start to say, this could probably really fuck up your muscle growth before they did any studies, just by the way. Bob, I'm not going to go into any plans. People don't need to know my plans. Natty or not, the power lifter says, I don't know. I would need to investigate. Maybe it's natural progress. Thoughts on young men needing Viagra and why? Because they're out of shape. Hey, Tim, that's not how it works. You do realize training hard for years should be a diminished return, right? He didn't get diminished returns. Can you really live on a diet of nothing but chicken, rice, and broccoli? No, you'll have a couple of nutrient deficiencies. Hey, coach, what are your thoughts on functional bodybuilding style training? I don't even know what the fuck that is. Strong as Hell says, morning, coach. Morning, strong as hell. Thoughts on honey pre-workout. Why are you eating honey? Why are you eating refined sugars? Cliff, you got your eye on any new experimental drugs? Nope. Hey, Tim. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Sorry. As far as you thinking he's natty, you're saying it's possible. Well, okay. Using that logic, it's possible that two smoking hot porn stars might fall through your ceiling into your bed right now with you and have a threesome with you. It's possible. I mean, it could happen. They could fall out of a plane and safely land somehow and crash through the roof. I mean, it's possible, right? It's just unlikely. You see how stupid that starts to sound? Well, it's possible. Anything is possible. I mean, come on, dude. You're living in a dream world. Tim Schultz, thoughts on fat acceptance? Oh, really? I thought fat acceptance died out now that Ozempic is everywhere. Now that Oprah's on the Ozempic train, we all acknowledge that fat is unhealthy and kills you. Done. All right. T-Cart, thanks for keeping the information content flowing. I'm getting back to lifting after several years off. Good to see you're still making content. Appreciate it, man. Will RFK say American making fast food companies friendly? No, beef tallow is no better than seed oils. Like that part is stupidity. Now, does it taste better? Sure, but you're still eating fried foods. It'll fucking kill you. All right. That's where this healthosphere really fucks up when they say bullshit, retarded shit like beef tallow is better than seed oils. No, they're both garbage. If you're cooking in either one, you're going to be a fat fuck and get cancer. Just fucking stop. Sucrose, table sugar, real sugar, butter, high fructose corn syrup. Really, every single study on the face of the fucking planet says it creates the same amount of garbage, inflammation, and problems with your liver. They're garbage. If you eat a bunch of either one, you're going to be a fat fuck with diabetes and cancer. This is not difficult to understand, people. All right. Now that my rant is over, I'm saying there's a reasonable possibility. No, there's not, Tim. There just isn't. All right. You did not observe the progress and the side effects and then the look he gets when he is super lean. No, there's no possibility. Tony D, the name Noble Natties cracks me up. Yeah, it's a marketing play. The whole Noble Natties alone thing is an enormous marketing play. If someone has ever ran gear before, would attest a prima ratio 2-to-1 or 1 would be better. Ooh, leanish, you start with a 1-to-1, you might have some problems real quick. I'd consider 2-to-1 maybe and assess. Raw honey, yeah, it's completely a refined sugar. Just because it's got some antioxidants in it does not reduce the free fructose content that will hit your bloodstream through your upper intestine when you consume it. Okay. So let me ask you a question. If instead of humans making cane sugar, right, of making table sugar, so since humans are the evil and insects are magical fairies, if cockroaches made the table sugar for you, like they ran the mills and then they dumped some vitamin C powder in it so that you had some antioxidants and some cockroaches made it, would it stop being a refined sugar? Now apply that same logic to honey. So because bees are magical, mystical fairies, that when they refine a sugar and strip it down to extreme degrees of free fructose with no fiber in it, but because they're magical fairies imbued with the nature school of magic from the old gods, that somehow it's not refined. Because bees are magical fairies and humans are the evil, right? So we're the only ones capable of refining garbage. That's the level of logic people take with this naturalistic fallacy. Well, it was made by bees, so even though it's a refined fructose, it doesn't have the same effects. Well, your bloodstream says otherwise. It's still free fructose that gets absorbed in large amounts in your upper intestine and doesn't reach the lower intestine to where it's fermented by your gut flora. Are you still a big fan? It's not a question of money anymore. Real GH is cheap today. We don't live in that era anymore. How much do you? I don't know how much. He only has 17-inch arms. 17-inch arms is massive for a natty. How many expos in the USA? In the USA, none. But if you're training straight after consuming honey, is it not? Do you need a pre-workout source? But why honey? So why would you consume a fructose that you can't use for fuel that your liver has to process? Why wouldn't you find a pure glucose powder? Why wouldn't you eat rice? Why wouldn't you consume something that can immediately go to your muscles? It requires no processing by your liver. So we're back over to it tastes good, not that it's effective. I personally trained completely fasted, by the way. Those long ass 20+ set workouts I do are on 0 calories for me personally. You may not be aware of that. I train completely fasted. I have literally black coffee. That's it, with no calories. I train when I'm ready. No, it depends on the weather, honestly. That's good, but I can't train fasted. Okay. So then why don't you consume some rice and some protein of some type? Why don't you get a starchy carb or something that's glucose based? Like, why do you need fructose specifically? You can't even use it as training fuel. All right. See the problem? I mean, not that you need that much anyways. Granted, you're only going to burn like 10 grams of carbohydrate during your workout. I like spinach and mackerel. All right, cool. Thoughts on Vegan Gains divorce? I don't know what thoughts you're looking for. 2 really gross people with terrible attitudes. I mean, she called him the N-word on camera before, like straight up with a hard R. I don't know what sort of strange relationship, derogatory femdom thing they had going. But keep in mind, she dropped the hard R on him in the middle of the camera. I'm just saying, dude, there's something, just one of those type of relationships. All right. Those are bronze era lifters before roids existed who mager people claim natty today. Yeah. Thanks, coach, will look into it with oats and blueberries if you can handle the fiber. Plus says, Jay, I heard normal. That is an extremely nuanced question, Cliff, and I'm not going to jump in and try to answer that in a live stream. That is like a detailed numbers, looking at ratios. So if I give you a vague answer, we're risking some problems that I'm then responsible for. So how about I just don't answer it? Vegan. I don't know who that is, Matthew. What's the most estimate body fat range? 20 is absolutely not optimal. Anything over 15 is definitely not optimal for health. Why do you think? Because he's a weirdo. I mean, I want you to step back and think about the fact, why did he do it? He's a guy who stood there on a camera and made 25 hours of lying documentaries about me obsessively for years. He's a grown man who watches anime all day and doesn't bathe. I mean, damn. Let me state that again. This is a man who doesn't bathe or use deodorant and looks nasty and stands around watching anime all day and made crazy stalking ass videos about me. Does he strike you as someone who's not weird? The dude's a weird ass freak. Like, he's a fucking freak. He's weird. Tim, because I have to go look at a bunch of shit. You're asking me off the top of my head to go look at bronze era physiques and stats and try to compare them to these guys. And I just don't have time for it. And Alex is absolutely not natty. Like, I'm not going to argue with you any further. It's not even a debate for me. I'm done. Now, if you want to pay me to have a formal debate on it, I need $1,000. Otherwise, I'm done. All right. But you said medical doctors, it's not optimal, bro. Go with the newer amounts of data. It's inside of acceptable. So you asked me what's considered healthy, or that's not what you said. You said optimal. So you need to change your question. Because now you've moved the goalpost. You went from optimal to, well, still healthy. So which one is it? I answered your original question. And there's no reason to be above about 15%. It's definitely not optimal for your health. You're going to be generally healthier at 14, 15% than you will be at 19 or 20. Alex or GVS who uses more gear. I don't know. I'm not keto. I rotate macros and stuff all the time, Anja. Like, what do you mean? Why do I switch? Doesn't every lifter do this? Anja, do you not follow this thing called bodybuilding or fitness? You realize that's really, really the norm. That's extremely normal in this world. Dudes rotate phases, oftentimes with low carbs, high carbs. It's extremely common. Even Arnold did it. So that's like saying, Arnold, why did you flip flop so much? Well, because all bodybuilders and shit do that. All right, guys. I need to wind this down for now. Let me hop off here. Hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals, and I will talk to you next time.